that the justice shall not be delayed. Is justice delayed? If you are Kuku, you go to court on Monday. Kama umeitiwa kwa dirisha ya KEMSA, unapewa contract. How long will the two people go to face the law at the same time? Now, those are some, that's also what the citizens of Kenya thought about justice dispensation within our borders. They also have the same sentiments or complaints that we are having. And that is what one of the things or reasons which informed the amendment of the Constitution, so that then we came up with the Constitution 2010. And in came, and what we wanted as citizens is to be involved in resolving our disputes. Currently, what happens, or rather what happens in court is that you are aggrieved, and someone else who has caused that grief, you both go to court, but then who comes up with a solution to a dispute? Who comes up with the decisions in court? Sorry? You seem to know. Who comes up with decisions? It's the judge who comes up with a decision. So the two of you who have a dispute, it's not the two of you who resolves your dispute, yet it is the two of you who know the genesis of that dispute. So today, what's your name? Sorry? Malang. SS? Yes, that name comes from there. So Malang today is working in my farm. We have 10 cows. When I come to check my farm, we only have 2 cows. So of course he has to answer for that. So we end up in court. Then at the end of the day, the judge makes a decision. Malang has agreed minor, so Malang goes in for 5 or 10 years. And I've won the case, isn't it so? Who has won? Is it Malang or Minor who has won the matter? It is Minor. But do I have my cows? Will I get my cows? Will his being in for 5 years give me back cows? What if then we try and resolve it in using an alternative method where Malang and I can sit down and agree, Malang, you had 10, now they're only 5. And then we agree with Malang, maybe we negotiate at some point. Then Malang we decide that he has been on a salary of 10,000 per month. Now we agree that he continues working for me. Instead of getting 10, he gets 2,000. So I retain his 8,000. So over a number of years, will I then get compensation for my cows? Yes, I will get compensation for my cows. Will Malang still retain his job? Will we still maintain our relationship? Yes, we will. So do you see a situation here of a win-win? Do you see it? You don't see it. Malang has gotten, still retains his job. Malang still is my employee. Malang still is there. And I am also now getting 8,000 per month from him. Yes. Actually, in a mediation, you must be over 18 for you to participate. You must be able to make a decision. Yeah. It's not the court. It's me and him who have sat down and negotiated and agreed. In mediation, there are no judges. There are no laws. There are no procedures. It's an informal process. Now, do you see the win-win? Now, what we've agreed is that instead of us going to court, if we go to court, he'll end up in jail. So now he doesn't go to jail. So now he simply forfeits a bit of his salary to pay the cows that alikula na watu wengine. You see, now that's what we call a win-win. Both of us are not losing. So mediation is one of those alternative forms of dispute resolution which were introduced in the Constitution 2010. And I read, alternative forms of dispute resolution, including reconciliation, mediation, arbitration, and traditional dispute resolution mechanisms shall be promoted. So we are talking about reconciliation, mediation, arbitration, and traditional dispute resolution mechanisms. Those were introduced in the Constitution 2010. So those forms can be used to resolve disputes. However, when it comes to traditional dispute resolution mechanisms, they can only be used subject to clause 3. And clause 3 says that this traditional dispute resolution mechanisms shall not be used in a way that contravenes the Bill of Rights, is repugnant to justice and morality, or results in outcomes that are repugnant to justice or morality, or is inconsistent with the Constitution or the written law. So if the traditional dispute resolution mechanisms are used, they must conform to the law. Now, why am I talking about mediation? Mediation is a skill that you can get, and you don't need to wait for the 4 years or however many years that you're supposed to be here. As long as you're 18, you can go ahead and acquire this skill. And how long does it take to acquire this skill? Who can make a guess? It's good to make guesses, isn't it so? What about you, that time? What's your name? How long do you think it will take for you to acquire that skill? He says a month. And we have mediator Anne Claire, so she can tell us how long it took her to acquire that skill.
It took me 5 days.
It takes you 40 hours. So the judiciary of Kenya stipulates that for you to become a mediator, you need to undergo a professional course not less than 40 hours. So the 40 hours that you've had simply translates to 5 days. And then you can acquire the skill. And once you acquire the skill, then as per the mediation rules, which were gazetted last year in August, you then become a qualified mediator who can then now seek accreditation with the judiciary to practice in court. So 40 hours, then now you can practice in court. You can be allocated matters, and for each matter that the judiciary allocates you, how much do they pay you?
20,000 per case.
So the judiciary pays you 20,000 per file. So if it takes 2 hours or 20 minutes for you to assist the clients to resolve their issue, then that's what they will pay you. But where else can also one practice as a mediator? You can also practice mediation privately, not necessarily in court. All right? So we also have private mediation. Private mediation is where people in a dispute will normally approach a mediator to help them resolve a dispute. And what a mediator does is simply to help them negotiate. And first and foremost, the mediator will help them to identify their issues, needs, and interests, because disputes are about people's interests, needs, and interests which have been threatened. You understand? When your interests are threatened, then a dispute, differences will arise. All right? That is why in Laikipia we'll hear about problems, mostly during the dry season, isn't it so? Because we have the pastoralists who have their cows and they need to graze them. And where do they graze them? Farmlands where the weather is favorable, where there is grass. You've heard about that, isn't it? You've heard about people being branded bandits in like Ethiopia and so many other places. Does it also happen in somewhere in Baringo? I'm sure most of you have come here to these nice campus, which when I was coming, I was wondering I'm going there because we saw some dirt road, then a few meters, some tarmac, then some place the tarmac again disappeared. And then we came to the gate and it is written, this is a corruption-free zone. And I was happy. Because hapa hakuna corruption, si ndio? Hapa hakuna corruption. Nyinyi wakati mtaenda muandiko ever mjue you come from a corruption-free zone, so do not take corruption there. All right. So I'm going to give you a brief of how mediation operates within the courts, because this is now, it is called court annex mediation. And there is also private mediation. Private mediation is the one which operates outside the courts. Like for instance, yesterday I received a call as I was waiting to come here today. And it was from a lady, and she was telling me that I have a dispute with my husband, and we want to resolve it through mediation. Initially, they wanted to go for marriage therapy. Is there anyone here who is married? None. Oh, geez. I was also married when I was in second year GSHP. People na mchezo. In my third year, already had a family, I had a kid, and my daughter graduated last year. Unaona nimesonga songa. Si mapema ndio best. Yeah, so now they have a dispute. And now they want to resolve it through mediation. They wanted to go for marriage therapy, and eventually the lady, after Googling, found mediation, and she thought mediation would assist them. When she read and found out how mediation operates. Mediation is a confidential process. So it gets handled confidential. You see, in court, anyone can just in themselves in there. Law students, do you go to court sometimes and just get in and hear stories? Mediation, it's only the two disputants or whatever number they are and the mediator. So everything which gets done there is confidential. Actually, the participants need to sign a confidential and inadmissibility agreement so that whatever they discuss there remains there. In the open court, things happen differently. There was a matter at Milimani High Court, and a gentleman wanted to divorce the wife because he came with evidence of where the wife had gone for away matches, and he even had videos, and he could even count the times that gumboots were worn or not. So it's happening in an open court. Can you imagine the embarrassment if these were your parents? Can you imagine the psychological torture, even to the relatives? If it's your sister, if it's your brother. So it ends up damaging the children. It will damage the relationship between this couple. What if they went and agreed separately? Hii maneno ishi. Game zote zikuwe ni za home. And then they agree. Nobody knows. But when everybody has known, then now it becomes a problem. So mediation is a confidential process conducted in a confidential manner. So, and who can be a mediator? Anyone with an interest, with a passion for helping people to resolve disputes can become a mediator. But it is more crucial for people who want to practice law. Because even when you're practicing law as a lawyer, your matters, when they go to court, may be screened, found suitable for mediation, and the court will order that that matter goes through mediation. So how will you guide your client through that process? Because now the process now reverses. In mediation, it is your clients will be negotiating directly. And then you, the lawyer, or the advocate, takes a back seat. And your role now is to advise your client. And sometimes even you may not be in that mediation room. So that's why it's important for someone studying law or practicing law to acquire mediation skills, so that then you can be able to better serve your clients, and you can also have an extra revenue stream, because now you can also practice mediation. Because sometimes when people go there, then wanasema wacha tufanye nini? Tuongee. And when they need to ongea, then now you can conduct mediation. Tunaendelea vizuri ama tungeongea kitu kingine? Are we okay? Does it sound like it's a skill that you can think of? If you're studying law, if you're studying in engineering, even in the engineering field, there are disputes. Recently, we got a contact from the Kenya Engineering Association, and they want to train mediation, because even in engineering, there are disputes. You've heard of roads being constructed, and then they're behind schedule. Or some people want to charge because they were contracted, but there is no law. Those are disputes which can be resolved through mediation. We also got the European Union reached out to us, the European Union Bank, their bank, because they finance big projects within our region. And they have disputes, because sometimes when the road passes here, then this family gets compensation. When the compensation comes in, those sisters who are married also come and they want a piece of this compensation, because our law says that when it comes to inheritance, women, whether married or not, can still come and wanaweza kurithi. That's the law. However, traditionally people may think different. Sometimes when now there is compensation, this now land now gets 10 other people who own it. You've heard it's common in Kenya, isn't it so? So they have, when they ran the project for doing Mombasa Road, they went through a myriad of problems which interfered with the way they were running their project. So they want in future now to have these matters resolved through mediation. What other careers are open in mediation? Recently, the International Labour Organization, African Union, various UN agencies, Plan International, and other organizations now are embedding mediators within their ranks, so that then they can resolve their disputes amicably within the organization. And what is the advantage of this? The advantage of this is that it is done confidentially. And as such, the image of the organization does not suffer. Putting up for now like a corporate career academy. When they come here, you are respecting these organizations. Is it so? That is why you are here. What if their image was destroyed? You'd not be here. You'd call them quacks and whatever else. So building an image takes a lot of time and resources. So you don't want your organization's image damaged. That's why these organizations now have mediators within their organizations. We also, we were in a conference, in a workshop in December in Naivasha with the Kenya Bankers Association, because the Kenya Bankers Association wants their issues in court. It is taking a very long time, resources, and also image is also suffering. So practically, any disputes can be resolved through mediation, apart from disputes which touch on the public. It's public interest issues cannot be mediated. Issues cannot be mediated. All right, so you decide longer unashika mtu mwingine na nguvu. That cannot be mediated because that is criminal. However, all matters can be mediated. So the field is huge. And the first ones to what the Constitution says, the judiciary is also working hard on ensuring that all courts will offer mediation. They have a target of recruiting 10,000 mediators. Currently, on the panel of mediators, which is kept by the Mediation Accreditation Committee of the Judiciary, we are 1,097 mediators. So there's a deficit of 9,000. All right? Are we still talking? Someone say amen. How much time again? I'm also practicing, maybe it could also acquire another skill in that direction. I'm seeing there's a church which I heard they have a turnover of 1 billion. Did you hear about that? Maybe you don't read news. There's a church which has a turnover of 1 billion. But anyway, that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about careers in these field of alternative justice systems. And anyone can do it. You don't need necessarily to have a background in law, but those who are studying law, it's more crucial for you to spread your wings, because that's the direction that the world is moving. Britain currently, all domestic matters, domestic issues must go through mediation. In Tanzania here, all labor issues must be mediated before they go to court. In the previous parliament, we had a bill which could not be passed because we had more urgent issues, elections. They were more urgent. That bill was stipulating that any civil matter, before it's registered in court, the disputants have to show proof that they have gone through mediation. It failed, that's why now they are coming for mediation. So you see, mediation, ADR is taking center stage. Not just locally here, but worldwide. So if you are studying law, if you strictly stay there, it will soon be obsolete. Now, let's look at how mediation works in the courts, and we'll look at the frequently asked questions which will help us, or rather help you understand what mediation is. And mediation is one of the ADR processes where people in dispute, with the assistance of a qualified mediator, resolve their disputes. And a mediator is an independent and neutral person with the expertise to help people resolve their disputes, so that then they reach what we call a negotiated settlement, a settlement where both of them are happy. And what does a mediator do? A mediator facilitates resolution of disputes. The mediator also explains to the clients the rules of engagement and gets the understanding and gets them to sign an agreement to mediate. And then the mediator is also supposed to maintain confidentiality. Actually, all the people who will be in that mediation room are expected to observe confidentiality and in fact sign a confidentiality agreement. However, there are certain matters or issues which will come up in a mediation room which will not be confidential. So there are certain exceptions, such that if the information which comes forth is related to child abuse, child neglect, defilement, domestic violence, or related criminal or illegal purposes. So if you're in that mediation or useme vile utaenda kunyonga mtu, then as part of my duty of care, I'll need to report that to relevant authorities. And why mediation? Why is the world moving towards mediation? It's because it is less expensive compared to the court process. It is also quick because the matter can be resolved. Like the couple who called me yesterday, we are meeting on Monday. So if it was in court, how long would it take? You need to go to the lawyer first. You need to go register the matter. Before it's even mentioned, it could be a year, 2 years, 3 years. Right now, those who are registering their matters, they have a 3-year wait period. But this couple who called me on Monday, we are meeting, and possibly before lunchtime, they'll have resolved the issue. Isn't that fast? Will it save them resources? Yes, it will. And also because it will be their own resolution, then it is easy for them to comply with what they will have agreed. And also because it will be a harmonious process, then they will be able to maintain their relationships. And even those whose relationships are damaged, they can be able to repair because now they will have agreed on how to resolve it. And court annex mediation is the mediation process which is conducted under the umbrella of the court. And this is opposite of private mediation, which is conducted on matters which have not been registered in court. Great. And then right now it's operating in 31 courts across the Republic, and it's on all matters save for criminal matters. Also, there are some minor criminal matters which are also now being referred to mediation. I've handled a number of them, and the parties have been able to resolve these amicably and fast. Across the world, people are also now resorting to restorative justice. All right? Medical expenses, housing, and everything, making these victims more comfortable. So this assailant was jailed, would it have improved the circumstances of the victim? It would not have done so, isn't it? So restorative justice is also being embraced, and soon it will also be here. Even here it happens to some extent, only that it is not common. And restorative justice is not in a house, and then they agree, the two of you agree that they can give you their guest which goes to court, is screened, and if it's found suitable for mediation, Follow the instructions of the mediator, then the mediator can issue a certificate of non-compliance, based on which they can be ordered to attend further sessions, their pleadings can be struck out, they can take force, they can be jailed, or whatever the court decides. So that's what mediation is. And that's a skill that you can acquire in 40 hours, which you can start monetizing immediately, and you still undergo your studies. And in line with this, I know most of you are techno-savvy. All of us here must be having smartphones, apart from wale tumeenda sherehe ikapotea. Sasa tuko na being before mambo ikuwe mzuri alafu tupate zingine. Why am I talking about tech? It's because everything is going tech. The mediation that we are talking about is also going tech. Most of the sessions that I will do, I'll do them virtually. So I need to have some skills in how to do things tech. So if you are online, all organizations like Corporate Career, all organizations like Suluhu Mediation Center, or the organizations in your area of interest. And you'll always then be able to keep abreast of what is happening in your area of interest. There are also opportunities which will never be out. And tech-wise, you don't need at all relative. Some of these, they'll put them out there and you can always be able to apply for these jobs, but then get skills in areas of your interest. Anyway, that's what was about mediation. Are there any questions, or how is the drill here? Any questions? Let's start with you. Are you a student leader? Are you? Can you see mediators can be able to read people?
Thank you very much. Mr. Maina Migiwi Charles, for a very long time I've been hearing about you and SMC through Twitter and other social media platforms. And so far I have been following your activity. My question is, I'm starting to fall in love with this kind of conflict solution, mediation, because number one, it is faster, and again, it's congratulations. I am praying that one time it could reach. Now, if someone wants to join this class, what are the expenses? And well, you have said it will take me 40 hours. I think that is relatively fine, because I feel this is an idea which all of us should be having, because at a point or two, we find ourselves in a working place with our workmates, and conflicts are there for us. So if we have this skill, it may help us to resolve such kind of conflict. Now, how can I access these classes, and what are the charges?
All right. So I've been allowed to take that one, and then the rest can go as the previous. When you were right, I didn't know what to do, then we proceeded. I took advantage anyway. Now, for you to become a mediator, at Suluhu Mediation Center, we offer the course through various modes. The first mode is the self-paced course. You know what is self-paced, yeah? We give you access to our platform. You go through the modules, and then you do an assessment. And an assessment is simply a role play, what you do, we call them mood mediation. You do moods, right? Students, law students, you do moods. So that's the assessment. So it's self-paced. You can start anytime, even right now or at midnight, study at whatever time you want and pace yourself. So you can do the 40 hours within a week, 1 month, 2 months, it's all within you. And then we have the virtual. Like those who are watching us on Zoom, and you can study from wherever. That one also takes 40 hours. That's Monday to Friday. And then we have weekend classes, which are also virtual. So for those who are doing the weekend classes, they do 4 Saturdays. So 4 Saturdays and you're done. And we have physical classes, which are also 40 hours. Physical classes is where the team will be on the ground and have something similar, and then within the 40 hours, you're done. So what's the cost? The self-paced mode is 30,000. The virtual and weekend virtual is 35, and then physical is 40. But I'm sure Corporate Career Academy can sponsor a bit of it, isn't it so? Yes. Have I answered your question? And then you've also talked about that the places you'll be going to work, there will be dispute, isn't it so? We have a partnership with the College of Human Resources, which is a constituent college of IHRM, Institute of Human Resource Management, which is the LSK for HR professionals. Because through that partnership, what we do is that we train HR professionals in alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, so that then they can be able to assess matters within the organizations and also be able to help resolve them before they go to court, saving the organization's resources, image, and whatever else goes, and also relationships, so that then the workplace becomes a conducive environment for working. You see, if you're going to an environment where you're expecting problems, will you be able to be productive? You may not be able to be productive. It also helps in mental well-being. When you keep getting memos and stuff, it might mess your mental health. Thank you. I'm sure we'll be taking the rest later. Thank you so much.
Another round for Charles. Was the conversation worthy? So who else can study mediation or do a mediation course other than lawyers? Other than lawyers? You guys were absent during his talk, eh? So we've agreed from Charles's conversation and interaction with us that alternative dispute resolution mechanisms or skills are important for all of us, right? If you are studying to be HR professional, for example, then this is good for you, whether you're in education, whether you're in engineering, and it's given very practical examples. And what makes you sell at the job market out there today is that additional skill that you have above your colleagues and peers, okay? So once again, the speakers that we have scheduled and the friends that we are working with are those that are bringing the message of hope. That as a student, you can also have this course, or you can also have this skill that you begin earning from immediately, even before graduation. And I know you have peer counselors, you have student leaders, you have class reps, you have faculty reps, who in many instances are involved in dispute resolution, in mediation and negotiation. But sometimes you don't understand because it's indirect. But those are the skills that we all need to survive the 21st century, where skills and practical skills, for that matter, are needed for us to survive at the job market. allow me at this juncture to introduce some of our guests that arrived when we were already on. We are joined by Collins Okomo, who is representing CASNEP, to begin Collins Makofi. Then Collins has come along with the ISPAC rep, Ann Chomba from the office, and Piana Deserve Makofi. And then there is Nelson Kore, who is an elected representative of ISPAC in the North Rift region. To begin, Nelson Makofi. And then I'm also told that CASNEP has a brand ambassador at Moi University, whose name is Dennis. Dennis, where are you? Thank you very much. After Dennis and Makofi. So we are expecting that Bernard should have been ready virtually, but as he sets up, allow me to invite Collins, who will share his time with the ISPAC reps to talk to us briefly on the options that they have as CASNEP. Tunamkaribisha. Na makofi. Asante sana. Karibu Collins.
Corporate careers, administration of Moi University, student leaders, invited stakeholders, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Yeah, my name is Collins Okomo. I come from CASNEP. I represent CASNEP in North Rift. I'm usually based in Oduma. I've been coming here quite often, so I also take this opportunity to welcome others, corporate careers. I came in late, sorry for that. And I found mediation process going on, not process, but that presentation that was going on. I found it so necessary. I don't know whether it is because I'm married and employed. I don't know what you had. Were you getting it the way I was getting it? You mentioned chere in a very light way, but I would replace the word chere with something like conflict. To make it radical, eh? Do you guys get into conflict? So take mediation very seriously. When you become my age, either you will be a client or you'll be the one offering the service. But either way, you will not miss. So allow me to say CASNEP. CASNEP is a professional examinations body. We exist to examine students in certain areas, mostly businesses. So CASNEP is a government institution that is formed on a legal framework, was established as a state corporation under the National Treasury by the government of Kenya on 24th July 1969. So today we are 54 years old. We are an adult, almost retiring. And then we are governed by some acts, the Accountants Act, the Certified Public Secretaries Act, the Investment and Financial Act. So there is a reason as to why we exist, for the mandate. Our mandate is to develop syllabuses. As an examinations body, we exist to develop syllabus that should guide students on how to read the examinations that we are supposed to set. Therefore, we conduct professional examinations, diploma and technicians, and we certify the students. If you are to study in Moi University and take our exam, we are the one to certify you, not Moi. So that means there is a difference between an examinations body and a training institution. We are not a training institution, we don't train. We also promote our qualifications nationally. The way I'm doing now, I'm telling you about CASNEP qualifications. And then we accredit the training institutions that offer our examination. Our vision is to be a global leader in examination and certification of business professionals. And the mission is empowering professionals globally by offering quality examinations and undertaking research and innovations. Therefore, we do this based on certain core values and the core values are very simple. We have since revised them into CASNEP. Usually, integrity is very important. You must do everything right when no one is seeing you. We are professionals, we are customer focused, we value you. That is why we come to Moi University all the time. We are a team, we deliver as a team, it is not an individual business. And as a result of innovativeness, we keep coming up with emerging ways of doing things. So straight to our qualifications. One of the most known qualifications of CASNEP is CPA, Certified Public Accountants. This professional examination is usually meant to produce accountants, finance officers, auditors, and consultants. Then, this is the exam that we find most people doing. And sometimes the question arises, CPA is flooded. Will never be. Did someone ever mention that? CPA can never be flooded. Eh? The course requires a lot of resilience, and therefore many start and a few complete. But we would want to encourage everybody who have started, if you want to be a good person, whenever you initiate a project, aim towards completing that project. So if you are here and you started CPA, the idea was good. You also thought of other things, but you need to complete every exercise that you start. Don't be a quitter. If you keep quitting all the time, you may be called another bad name. Eh? So our certified public accountants have been working all over the country. If you ask members of ISPAC, accountants are integral. We are needed all over. Moi University has accountants. The nearest secondary schools with accountants. The church receives a lot of money. The church is an organization that requires management, and therefore financial management is one of them. We are also targeting the church with accountants. When we produce accountants, we are sending them to the mosques to go and manage grants, offerings, and all the money is received. Have you seen some churches going to conflict that someone mismanaged the fund? That is when they decide to employ someone who is not an accountant. So if you are going to receive money, please aim at employing an accountant. The other course is called Certified Secretaries. This is a governance course. We are targeting those who intend to work in corporate governance, corporate secretarial practice, consultancy, business management, and administration or human resources management. We also have CIFA, Certified Investment and Financial Analyst. This is the professional course for those who pursue finance. I know they are not here. Those who do finance are here, really? They're here. Good. So if you intend to do finance, the professional course for finance is Certified Investment and Financial Analyst. But again, the question is, where is the line between accounting and finance? Accounting is recording of transactions, isn't it? Collecting financial data, grouping them, summarizing, and presenting, isn't it? Accounting deals with history. Finance deals with planning and budgeting. If you look at finance, therefore, it is futuristic. It is looking into the future. How do we allocate funds to HR department? How do we allocate this to production department? How much are we likely to receive from treasury bills next year? So if you look at finance, its aim is to plan and then budget. Then, as much as accounting is an internal organization administration tool, finance sits between the organization and the external environment. The external environment, I mean the shareholders, the suppliers, regulatory institutions like central bank, the banks, and therefore finance looks at the bigger picture. I would say that accounting is a subset of finance, but that may not be true, depending on how you understand it. But the similarity is bigger. Both accounting and finance is to guard the assets of the. Whoever mixes the knowledge of finance and accounting is better off because they can understand more. So if someone gets a confusion on whether it is financing, remember the differences and the similarities. We also have a course called CCP. This finance, CIFA, or Certified Investment and Financial Analyst, their aim is to do financial analysis. They are practitioners in investments and securities. They do portfolio management. They also do investment banking. And you should remember that every bank in this institution has a subsidiary company that does investment. If you go to KCB, for example, they have something called KCB Capital. You go to Cooperative Bank, there's something called Kingdom Securities. If you go to Equity Bank, there is something called Equity Investment. So almost every bank has an investment subsidiary. If you aim to work in such institutions, including Nairobi Securities Exchange and all that, you can pursue CIFA. We have the CCP, the Certified Credit Professional, and these are guys who aim to work in the credit offering institutions, the SACCOs, the credit section of the bank, the microfinance institutions, airline institutions, the supermarket, the insurance agencies, or the insurance companies. Insurance companies, almost all of them are offering services on credit. As much as they receive premiums, but sometimes the hospitals make payments on behalf of insurance companies. Therefore, the hospitals receive these payments on credit, so that the insurance firms deliver later. This creates something called accounts receivable on the hospital side, or those institutions that clear you of your bills before they actually receive it. So accounts receivables, I can call it debt. Therefore, certified credit professional also trains a debt collector. Iko mtu hapa na deni ya mtu hapa. Hustler fund. Yes, hustler fund is a credit. When you promise to pay the hustler fund in 2 weeks' time, there is an officer who has a list of all the people who have taken the loan and have promised to pay. Therefore, this guy is a credit manager. If after 2 weeks you fail to pay the loan, it goes into a debt. Therefore, you will be assigned a debt collector. And one thing I can assure you from today henceforth, if you take a shilling from someone and you promise to pay, please pay. Even if you default on your debt, it does not disappear. When in future you'll be going to take a loan, there is something we call a credit history. And credit history, the person who has been mandated to take care of this record is the Credit Reference Bureau, or CRB. If you are a credit officer and you have to give a loan, there is a rule. The rule, when I worked in the bank some years ago, we used to follow one called Campari. Campari, C for character. Now I want to tell you this. You are given a loan, not because you are really qualified to take a loan. You are given a loan because of your character. The first thing a credit officer checks is your credit history, which is your character. So the rule in giving a loan is called Campari. If you write it coming down. So the first thing is character. Did any of you take a loan from somewhere? How do we know your character? By checking the credit history. The next thing we check is ability to pay. So even if you are to come with around, even if we know you are rich, ability to pay, but character is questionable, you cannot be given a loan. I know some of you took help and saying that I will not pay. You must pay. Then there is another course called Certified Information System Solutions Expert. We expect to produce data analytics guys or network managers. Then we have a post-professional course called Certified Forensic Fraud Examiner. What do you need to do these qualifications? A C+. If you have a C+, you can take these courses. These courses are very interesting. They've been taken by so many people. If you're interested, you can take. Before something happened in 2016. 2016. How many of you trust 2022 KCSE results? How many? No, you must respond in a good way. You know, that thing was read by the cabinet secretary. Do you trust the result for 2022? They are good. The one for 2023 should be like that, isn't it? Unless you want to report this somewhere. Stand with me. So in 2015, we had very good results. And then in 2016, we had a different result. So before the results of 2016, we used to insist that for you to do CPA or any examination, you are to get mean grade of C+, then C+ in English and mathematics. That was very bad, isn't it? So in 2016, maybe we couldn't have registered anyone as CASNEM. Not because there were no qualifications, they were there. But what we did, we watered down, or we changed our position from C+ in mathematics and English to just a mean grade of C+. Then that is now affordable. That is better, isn't it? So you have the 2022 KCSE result. Okay, now if you don't get that, you can do our diploma qualification. One of our most popular diploma qualification is called Accounting Technician Diploma. This is the course that produces all bazaars in these secondary schools, accounts assistants, audit assistants. Then we have diploma in data management and analytics, and then diploma in computer networks and systems administration. What you need to qualify in KCSE is C- or C plain. Upon completing those diplomas, even if you didn't get the C+, you qualify to do the professional qualification. Then we have a certificate course that is certificate in accounting, and management skills. Then we also have vocational qualifications. Now from 2016, we learned a lot, and over the years, we have accepted that if someone fails in KCSE, there could be other reasons for failing. And again, there are people who believe in starting from 0 to 1 all the way. So if you get an E, to do a certificate, by the way, you need a D+ or D plain. But if you don't get those ones, D- or E, you can do a vocational course at CASNEP, and then you rise to certificates, to diploma, to professional, and you achieve what you want. Our vocational courses are vocational certificate in entrepreneurship and innovation, vocational certificate in graphic design, vocational certificate in information and cybersecurity, vocational certificate in blockchain technology. If this information is relevant to you, where you come from, you are the best, isn't it? Now, the people you are better than, make sure you take the information to them. Then, why take CASNEP qualification? CASNEP qualifications they are very important. The employers prefer CASNEP qualifications because they create very competent employees. Then, for those of us, it enables you to get a job very fast. If you tend to be employed, and let's say you have a degree in finance, degree in business, in education, degree in Bachelor of Arts, or even engineering, and you are to do a CASNEP qualification, if you mix with a professional qualification, it is a faster way of getting employment. Employment is a probabilistic thing because the employer that advertises for a position receives 10,000 applications, but the chance is 1. So the way you're doing shortlisting is that if you have something else, then you stand a better chance. Again, it enables you to join professional bodies, like today I've come with the members of ISPAC, so they can tell you who qualifies to be a member of a professional body. Our fees are affordable. To register for professional course, you need to pay registration fee of 7,500. If you go at the back of that brochure, registration fee for professional qualification is 7,500, diploma is 6,000, certificate is 3,500. The mode of study, how you can study our courses, you can do benefit from direct presentation, you can do group discussion, you can join online classes, but you make sure you see what is relevant for you. Online has a lot of options, and sometimes it is a gamble. If I have a degree, can I be exempted? Yes, you can be exempted. But why would you wait to have a degree then you come for exemption? At this time that you're doing a degree, why not take your professional courses? Doing a degree gives you the perfect environment where there is a library, there are people who know better than you. Once you come from this university and go back to your home, you are the hero. You are the one to help others. Nobody can help you. So why can't you challenge yourself and take up the initiative? If you are in second year, third year, fourth year, and there's a course you have done that you really feel we are offering, still we will not exempt you. We exempt you if you have completed, but please don't wait until you. The reason I'm saying that is because of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you get a D and go to a college, and then you get another beautiful opportunity to go back to high school after you have been admitted in college, can you go back to high school? It's a personal decision. It is very difficult. Once you have achieved something, you always aim to the next thing. Just like now that you're in university, once the day you graduate, you'll be so bigoted, you will not feel like fitting in Moi University again. Eh? So it takes you a while to sit down and accept that you're a student. That is after being frustrated by employers. It's when you will say, can I now take this course? Very sweet for at some stage. So you can read now everything that you wish to read. You can get our service Google. You will find a custom student portal. You just use it to sign up. So we also have a custom foundation that has given out loans to students that take custom courses, and these loans have been used to pay for your examination. I also encourage you next time to make sure you get to know how we give these loans. Allow me to invite, I've read the body language of my senior here. Allow me to invite ISPA, Tim, Anne and Nelson to make a short presentation. Otherwise, my presentation ends there. For those who would like to know about me, we have brand ambassador, Dennis Munene, Gilo, Area. The others I'm forgetting. Please allow me just introduce the brand ambassadors. Yeah, you know the guy, Gilo.
Name, and if you need any service from name, I guess I can assist you before you go to my center. And then we have an organization called PASAM. I can use with all what explains about PASAM in Moi University. And I have some colleagues here they can introduce themselves.
Good afternoon. My name is Alfred. I was in charge of publicity for CASNEP of the PASAMO group in Moi University. In case of any questions, you can come to our group. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gilo Alake. I'm the Secretary General PASAMO. In case of any assistance, the three of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And please, you can clap for me, please.
Good morning, everyone. I believe it's still morning. Am I Shafik at 12? So Lipen is like, good morning. How are you doing? So I'm glad to be here. And once again, thank you so much, Pauline. Things are getting easier Because when I was studying CPA, we had to check how you performed in your mathematics paper, and we had also to check how you performed in your English paper. So thank you, because it seems you're now comfortable just to look at your mid grade and have your CASNEP paper. So we are the ISPAC team, and we brand ourselves as ISPAC, which is Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. We have our offices in Eldoret, opposite Moi John Deere Building, first floor. So once you visit the town, when you're around that area, just visit the ISPAC office. So maybe I don't want to take a lot of time. I believe that time is far much gone. I just want to take the very shortest time possible and maybe just give you a highlight of what is ISPAC and what we do. So ISPAC is an Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, whereby for you to become a CPAK, you have to register with ISPAC and having been examined by CASNEP. And that's why we have Collins here with us, because you progress from CASNEP and then now you advance to becoming a certified public accountant of Kenya. That is the professional body, which is ISPAC. So you have to register yourself with ISPAC for you to be recognized, which we always say, and it's all about that for you, once you're registered with ISPAC and once you've been examined by CASNEP, you become globally competitive. We have a memorandum with Rwanda, we have with Tanzania, we have with Uganda, England, and Wales. So it becomes again so comfortable for you to have this course for CASNEP and then register with ISPAC. We have our mission, which is a world-class professional accountancy institute. How that makes every accountant to be very mandated and to be very credible and independent in whatever they do. So without further ado, we do so much. We are allowed, or else we are mandated as per the Constitution, subsection 8 of 208, we are allowed and mandated to advise the Secretary for Finance in terms of accountability and governance. But we've also extended it to mentorship and career talks when it comes to universities, high schools, because we mind the character. And because I've also been through the university, I know what means for you to be mentored or even to be guided, especially when you're going out there in a workplace environment, because you have now to meet people who maybe you might not reason the same way. Because for us, or maybe for you, with the challenge of the digital world, you're so much into social media, everything. So we really look into character. How are you supposed to carry yourself in an office? What should you do? So I'll invite my colleague without taking much time. He will say something little about character and mentorship. Yes, let me not take much time. Asanteni sana for your time.
Thank you, CPA and Chomba, for that session. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm CPA Nelson Mchai Kore. I do represent the youth within the ISPAC branch, and as you've been told what ISPAC is all about. So at the institute, we do have a representation. For myself, I do represent the youth. So I'm here, cadres of the institute, to highlight issues to do with the youth. So I will start, I'll begin by reading a quote or an article. Allow me to read an article. It was in one of the dailies, and allow me to quote it. The choice of a career path is one of the most difficult that each of the youths has to make in their life. That decision has to be made at the prime age, but with potential consequences for the remainder of your life. It's therefore important for us to expand the debate on the breadth of options available for higher education in the country for our younger people to make informed choices. The most tragic reality of our times is too much preoccupation with certificates as opposed to skills and competence. We live in a country where people flaunt certificates as badges of honor without demonstrating in evidence possession of relevant practical competence. I would like to quote, maybe in that article, they refer to the late Bob Collymore as the only phenomenal growth for Safaricom within the company. Just the largest company in Eastern Central Africa being led by someone who has a diploma as opposed to even a degree. So within that article, it gives us a range of issues. One, we don't need just to depend on our certificates. We need to go much higher, maybe to do with skills and competence. I know you guys, all of you, you are students within this university. You've undertaken maybe degree courses. So you need to have other skills, but from the degree programs. As a professional institute, we've taken your issues and we've developed a model in conjunction with CASNEP that is known as Trainee Accountants Experience Professional Framework, commonly known as TAFE. So that program is an online program whereby you will sign up yourself, and the people who are supposed to sign up are students like yourself. If you are interested to undertake a course in CASNEP, the courses that you've been mentioned here, so you sign up the portal and there's someone, you will be assigned a supervisor as part of the trainee program. Allow me to say also, as accountants who have practiced, we take recognizance of the fact that most of our accountants are jobless, not because they don't have the qualifications or the skills, but they lack experience. So as a professional institute, we take note of that and feel free to engage with our colleague here, CPA Han. You've been told where our officers are. So just to visit there, you will be given directed to where you get information. If you want attachment, internships, you will be directed, you will be given someone, a mentor, and also we organize career talks at our offices. So one of these 5 days, maybe we'll invite you guys to grace those mentorships programs. Allow me to say also, as part of our mentorship program, we tell students to get involved or get networked. As you are in this institute or in this organization like in Moi University, can you build your network, have a network of people so that by the time you finish your course, at least you have some networks. Even after a year, you need to have a network whereby you can dialogue so much. Because of time, we may not talk so much. Allow me to end there for now, and I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nelson. Another round for Nelson, please. Thank you very much. That was CASNEP and the products of CASNEP, where we have ISPAT and their representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to recognize a very special group in this gathering. Those of us who came in late and missed seats, and they've been standing for a while. So we gave them a I know they're not just standing for the certificates, but they're standing to get the gist of our discussion, to get the new skills, and to get an opportunity to connect. Sindio, thank you very much for that resilience. Allow me at this time to connect with those of us who are virtual again. Livingston, if you could hear us, it's that moment that we want to invite Jane from Jubilee Insurance. Jane is the talent manager at Jubilee Insurance to talk to us about the future of work. After that, we will have Livingston for about 10 minutes, then they'll hand it back to us to conclude with the Q&A session. Livingston, if you could hear us, please.
Thank you very much, Philip. Hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear, proceed. Do we have Jane?
So thank you very much for, I think the session has moved on well. I want to appreciate students who are listening to us. I believe we are learning. I want to introduce Jane to you to speak about the future of work. Our topic Jane is more passionate about. One of the few things I like about Jane is because Jane has a way of encouraging us to do the right thing. So she did a degree in education, and now she's the head of talent with a lot of experience in HR. So the purpose of our talks is to tell you that don't set on your course. A course is just like another shirt you are wearing. What you do when you are wearing a shirt is the most important thing, not the color of your shirt. So Jane, I want to introduce you to speak to these people and tell them if you have any opportunities for them. Welcome.
Great. Thank you, Livingston. I love the introduction about the color. Good afternoon, Moi University. I'm super excited to be here to tackle a conversation I love to do, because after school, you probably get me at the end of the funnel. And so I'd like to share with you some nuggets that you need to have in mind as you finish school. Doesn't matter whether you're a first year or a fourth year, the nuggets I'll be sharing are critical for your success. So I know I've listened through, I have had a lot of training and listening to the great speakers who've come ahead of me. I would like to say one thing that I've come to believe that, and it's a quote that says, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who can't read and write, but there'll be those who cannot learn and relearn. So I believe corporate CCA gives us an opportunity always to reflect on what we know and what we don't know, but most importantly, make a deliberate and intentional focus to learn, but most importantly, to also unlearn and relearn and become ready for whatever aspect of the career we are looking to have. So allow me to just start by welcoming you. It's a chat. I'll just be sharing nuggets of things I've seen and things that are influencing the future of work and how, as a student, you can prepare for this. You don't want to come after 4 years and you face the work environment and there's a disconnect in terms of what is the employer looking for and what are you ready for. So engage me after this in any questions. I'll be answering the same. But I enjoyed the conversation about guys who've done Bachelor of Education, yeah? And I'm one of those guys who had the dream of becoming a lawyer. And you know, our times, which are many years ago, you'd either get your first choice or the last choice. And my last choice was B.Ed. So I got to do a Bachelor of Education. And I was very frustrated about that. And during our times, it was not easy to change. We didn't have other courses. The parallel programs were not coined then. So I had to stay with it. But looking back, I have no regrets. And I can tell anybody doing Bachelor of Education, you probably have a fantastic career that is very agile in the market. And you can choose to be whoever you want to be if you have education as a background. So I hope I'll encourage a few of us. You don't have to lose hope about that. So we proceed. So I'll be handling the future ready workforce and asking ourselves, how ready are we If you're in fourth year, how ready are you? But most importantly, if you're in first year, how ready are you going to be in preparing for your in the next 4 years to be ready for the world of work? To kick us off, I'd just like to share some nuggets. And now being in HR, we like to have context to a lot of things. So allow me to share this. We all want to make a difference, and the world is looking for great leaders to make a difference. We have a lot of societal issues and problems, and the world is looking for people to come and make a difference. And I'd like to highlight a few of the guys we know in the market or in our world who have made a difference. And as I'm having this conversation, I presume I'm having individual conversation. I'm talking to a team. I would like you to take a personal journey in this conversation. So as you were in uni, what is your end game? Is there any problem that you see you'd like to fix in the society? All these guys, I probably don't know, we know them from their professional or academic programs or qualifications. It's more of what kind of difference they have made, right? And like I said, all our dreams are valid. I said when I joined uni, I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought I'd be in the legal space. I didn't get to do that. And that is life. It has a way of churning out different aspects. And like we also know, the world is also emerging. It doesn't have a structure. We all know that we are post-COVID. I don't think it's post-COVID really. I think it's the reality of life. But COVID hit us. It was something we didn't expect. So even on your career journeys, you probably will study something and you realize a lot of professionals have changed in the workplace. Like Jane, who was supposed to be a teacher, did a lot of courses as she was finding her future and what she would like to be. I've been to CASNEB, I've done insurance papers until I found what I wanted to make a difference, which is HR. So I'd like to encourage everybody in this room, whatever you want to do, your dreams are valid, but be very clear in terms of what space do you want to influence. We are all people who are gifted differently, and I'll show you how, over and beyond your technical competencies that you do in uni, the person you are, your inherent skills and abilities influence the kind of careers you'll take after university. So you need to be cognizant that you're not just defined by I'm doing B.Ed. Who else are you? And what other areas can you make a difference? For example, I had Mr. Migwi talk about mediation. In the last 1 year, I discovered mediation and I realized this is a skill I want because in my place of work, I often deal with conflict resolution. And I went straight ahead and did mediation courses. So as we go into the future of work, I'll be looking at how do you become adaptable? I mean, how do you ensure you're building other skills that make you relevant for the workplace? Because the workplace has changed, the market has changed. There's a term we use called VUCA. I mean, the world is very volatile, it's uncertain, it is complex, it is ambiguous. So you need a whole new skill set as an individual to navigate the terrain. So in addition to building all your professional courses, and which are great, and the great speakers have told you resources that are available away from CASNEB, mediation, and I'm sure other speakers talked about engineering. You need to know that, but you also need to know that how do you prepare yourself, because it's not always as structured as it is, and your mind needs to be ready for disruption of your career, of whatever else you'll be doing. But needless to say, our dreams are valid. Whatever course you've taken, education or wherever else, that does not define you. You decide what you want to do with it. And it starts right now. You can start building skill set that gets you ready for what you're looking for. So I came here to talk about the future of work and to say the world is changing, and we all know that. And you can quote different ways in which the world is changing. But allow me to focus on how it's changing. And in 3 aspects, talk about the work is changing. And what do I mean by that? The way we used to do work, it's changing. For example, the way we used to do administration work, the way you used to serve customers, you have a customer care person. You can have other new technology handling that. So you find in HR, the job descriptions we had for a lot of roles have consistently changed because work can be done differently. There's automation. What used to be so manual is now automated. For example, I can talk about one disruption I have in my workplace. I get about 6,000 CVs for a role, but now I don't have to sit down and shortlist. I can get a bot to do that, you know. As in Jubilee, we have robotics as a way of re-enhancing how we do work. So you realize some of the work that was done in the usual conventional way, it's changing because automation has changed that place. So as you come into the place of work, you become adaptable. If I'm HR and I've been hired to just recruit and shortlist, I quickly decide that this is not going to be competitive in the next 1 year. I have to change and get skill set to still be competitive in the workplace. So different areas of works are changing. The customer is changing, and we need to then know what skills must we upskill ourselves, irrespective of what you're studying, to be able to be relevant to the world of work. The other thing that is changing is the workers are changing. You guys are Generation Z, and some of the challenges we are having right now is that some people don't want to work full time. They just want to work 8 to 5. They don't want to work 8 to 5 p.m. That's conventional. People and the people coming to the workplace feel that I can offer this skill, yeah, and I just want to offer it during this time. It's a project, deliver it for you, give me my parts, I disappear. So organizations are also getting to get this kind of talent coming to the workplace, and we also have to rethink, how do we manage this? So we're starting to see there are roles that we don't need to have full-time people, and we may need gig workers, you know, people who come and deliver and leave. So how are you prepared for that? For example, even in the techie world, which is very competitive, you must be so good at what you do, that you can sell your skill, and probably don't need to work for one organization. You probably will work for different organizations. So workers are changing, and the workers I'm talking about is the workers already in the work environment, but also people coming to the workplace are now more dynamic. We're starting to have people who are virtual. They want to work virtually. You go to interviews and somebody says, for me to work for you, I don't want to work from the office. I want to be virtual, but I'll deliver for you and get your work done. So those are some of the disruptions we're getting to the workplace. So as a student, if, for example, this is a modality you want to work with in terms of maybe being a gig worker, then you must be so skilled for what you provide that whoever buys your service or product trust you and you can deliver. You know, sometimes when you're used to working from an office, there's a lot of support. But if you're going to separate yourself and say, I can do this, I can work for different organizations, then guys, you must be very, very skilled at what you do. So then you're able to offer the service that can be bought. Then what else is changing? And I think I've highlighted this, is the workplace. So post-COVID, we had about 30% of work being hybrid for a lot of organizations. Now going forward, a study has been done, don't know if my mind, I don't remember that, 41% of work will be done hybrid. So that's disruption for a lot of organizations. It's also disruption for a lot of workers, and especially the conventional workers who've been in the workplace. It's very attractive for the people coming to the workplace, but this changes how we do work, how we communicate, how we measure performance management. As well, it defines the employee in terms of how self-driven are they, how can they be accountable for work that needs to be done without supervision. And that calls for a change, both for the employer and the person seeking to do the work. How do we ensure that we meet our deliverables? As much as we are now working virtually, we are accommodating hybrid. How do we speak? How do we communicate? And how do we ensure that we are getting the work done? So these are critical aspects that I've highlighted of the world of work and how it's changing, and how every one of us in this call needs then to see, wait a minute, I'm doing this kind of, I'm studying this. Where does my work fall? Are you researching hard enough to see what are the things that are changing for you to be an engineer, for you to be a lawyer, for you to be a designer? What are the emerging changes in your career? You can't wait until you're fourth year and you're looking for a job to understand what has changed in the area of work that you want to have. So my call for us is that we need to research, we need to be top of our game in determining where we are going. And of course, sometimes you can never go where you've not been, even with your mind. Define it, and look for information so that it informs you right now, what skills do I need to do, what's changing, and how are you preparing yourself for that future. And I don't like calling it the future of work, just like I don't like to say the future leaders. I say we're the future, we are the leaders of now, and the work is changing, but it's changing now. Probably the future as you come will be totally different. We'll be having another conversation as well. So take note of this and see what are some of the things you need to start doing to be ready for this space. So how do you get ready? I would like to share a few nuggets towards this. There are many nuggets, but I've just pulled a few for the time we have. I think I've gone ahead of myself to say, if you're an engineer, like the earlier speaker said, you need to know, okay, in 5 years, I'll be out of this space. So I'm going where? So you must define and get that fact clearly defined. What is the work of an engineer and where are they working? Where are the engineers being employed? What is being required of the employer? And so what are the skill sets do I need? How do I start preparing myself towards that end? I'll get my degree, but what else is changing? I need to be ready for that. You probably need another skill set. For example, the digital skills are very critical for everyone. They're transferable skills across our industry. What is digital skills for your career, for instance, and how ready are you getting for that? So my call for us in terms of getting ready, whether you're in first year, is that you can't just walk in life without knowing your destination or where you want to be. And like I said, our world is volatile. It keeps changing. But for now, you must define, in my 4 years, this is what the career I have chosen. What must you know about it? So then you're not looking at it at the graduation square is when you're starting to research. Get online, figure out what's needed by employers, talk to people who are already in your careers. For example, if there's somebody on this call who has done education, wants to be in HR, they should look for somebody like Jane to help them understand, okay, Jane, this is where I am, and Jane can be any other Jane anywhere, who is doing what you want to do. What do I need to do? And put that down. What skill sets do I need? What kind of online communities can I join? So that you start understanding what is needed and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're looking for a job, would I be job ready? And start on a journey of personal development towards that. And a lot of the skills may not be taught in class, so there are things you must learn on your own. But the good news is we have a lot of information and resources for us to explore. So I just want to highlight a few of the skills I note are very critical in the emerging world of work. And you realize I'm not going to mention any technical role or skill set. I'm just going to say that these are transferable skills for everyone, irrespective of what you're studying. You need this skill like yesterday. And like I said, learning is not a destination, it's a journey. You just have to be intentional that you commence the journey of your personal development. So other speakers talked about adaptability. When you come to the place for work, for example, if you're in HR, I've just said, now we do recruitment that can be automated. We don't need to go through 1,000 CVs. Then if that's all you knew, how can you be adapted? How do you adapt? How do you quickly know that these are the skills you need to be what the employer is looking for in a lawyer, in a salesperson, in a business developer? What are those skills and how adaptable would you be? So you can't get stuck, I'm doing this course. It looks like it's a doom course, or that's how you describe it. I can tell you a lot of people we employ, their degree is almost like a stand. Apart from very technical areas, like if you want to be a doctor, you're doing medicine, an engineer, apart from those technical courses, a lot of other degrees just becomes as minimum qualification. Whatever else you do after that, who you are over and beyond that will probably get you a job faster. So, and that's why I'm saying, define where you want to go, define the kind of influence you want to have on your career, and start working on that. You cannot separate yourself from learning. And if you think there are things that hold you back from learning, you got to unlearn them and relearn new skills that are necessary for yourself. Curiosity, and when I talk about curiosity, I am referring to having the ability to look at situations and ask questions. Employers are looking for problem solvers, yeah? In the work environment right now, there's so much, is very fast. You don't want people who come and they're not curious. They don't ask questions. Sometimes you don't have a lot of time and the learning curve ought to be very short. So how curious are you in terms of the the solutions you can offer? And are you asking the right questions around that? Even for your growth. After this session, I'm sure you probably have a reflection over yourself and whom are you going to ask about the journey you want to take ahead of yourself. That is a very important skill in the emerging world of work, because like I said, like COVID, it happened one day and in a few minutes or in a few days, you're supposed to work from home. Everybody, the whole world was shut, but work had to go on and nobody had the skill set of managing that. So it required a lot of consultation, a lot of asking and a lot of seeing, how do we still work and serve the needs of whatever product or services we offer. So curiosity, asking, being involved and just thinking out of the box is a necessary skill in whatever profession you're doing. The art of communication. And I had somebody say, how do you communicate? If you come, for example, to an interview session, the person you'll be selling will be yourself. Over and above, I have your profile and CV. You'll come and sell yourself to whoever wants to recruit you. How do you communicate? Where from when you're asking for a job? Where from your call? You know, all that is aspects of communication. What are you doing about that? To enable that. A lot of the things that affect good communication is personal belief systems. Some people suffer a lot of self-esteem, and that is a huge derailer, lack of self-confidence. So sometimes we find very brilliant people, very good scorers in their professional papers, but when they come to articulate what they can do for an organization, when they're asked a question like, what would be your value proposition? What would be your value add if we got you to the team? The way they're going to explain that, there'll be 3 or 4 people who can do it better. And sometimes the world is very competitive. We'll get 1,000 CVs once we do adverts, but we shortlist to about 10. And like one of the earlier speakers from CASNEP said, all these skills you do after school will help in your shortlisting, because people don't just want people who went to school and you have the degree. There are 1,000 of you who have the degree. So if you have a CPK, if you have mediation, if you have HR, all these start separating you from the many people you are. So how you communicate is fundamental, both on written, both when you get calls for even for interviews, but most importantly, how you're able to articulate the things you can do. Very important. So if I'm not confident about speaking, I can tell you I was one of the many who couldn't speak, but speaking is a competence, confidence is a competence. You really need to figure out how to get that. There are many online things you can read about public speaking, communication, how to build your confidence. There are a lot of tools towards that, but most importantly, it's how you practice. So a few times in this call, I hear there's a brand ambassador for CASNEP who is a student. I mean, not everybody is. So how do you show up to take some of the roles within your community? You have CU, you have CA, you have many clubs. Show up and start speaking, because whether you're speaking to 2 people or 1,000 people is the same competence. Start developing it with where you are and the resources you have. So if you hear there's a club and they want a secretary, pull your hand up, show up and go and do that, because the skill sets you're going to get from that are not taught in school, but will be fundamental for your career and as you show up. The other skills is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is how we work with people, how we deal with people in regard to our emotional differences and understanding that. So every individual, this is one of the most highly rated competence in the workplace, because every time you're going to be a leader, you're going to work with people, you're going to have people reporting to you, you're going to be in a society. How you relate with people is fundamental. And I would like you guys to read about this and start building this competency. And one of the things to get it, do a feedback process from your friends. Get feedback of how you show up to people. Do you listen to people? How do you speak to people? All that is going to differentiate you. And even if you get a job and you're low on EQ, it's not going to sustain you. You may have a very high IQ, very smart at what you do, but if your emotional intelligence is low, I can guarantee you, your growth will be very limited. Even if you become an entrepreneur, this is fundamental competence that you need. Social acumen is the ability for you to socialize with the realities around you, with the people around you. Just be out. Don't close yourself. Be out. Join networks. Visit people. Get mentors. Your social acumen will determine also how far you go. So, as a student, don't get caught up. As I'm saying, as you know where you want to go and what career you want to pursue, whether you're doing a degree related to that or not, start getting help. And the way you get help is moving out of your comfort and looking for information, looking for people who can help you, your dean, your career offices. Sometimes in Jubilee, we do a lot of a lot of mentorship programs online that are virtual. Do you even care about that? How do you connect? How do you connect? You know, your network is going to be equivalent to your networks, and networks probably are not just the people you meet, the online platforms you are on, the professional engagement you get yourself into. So develop that muscle, fundamental for the future of work. And these are skills that are transferable across industries and are fundamental for your growth. The other thing, I think I could have said this as I discussed the others, is how do you problem solve and your critical thinking. We don't have a lot of laxity on time in any environment, whether you're going to be an employer, an employee, an entrepreneur. You have to have the ability to look through issues and provide solutions. Be a critical thinker, evaluate issues, give scenarios on how we can do this. For example, I can say, sometimes you may not have enough capital to do something and the business wants to push an agenda. Can you do scenario analysis for a team and say, if we get this capital, what else can we do? What alternatives can you have? Your ability to offer solutions to whatever world you find yourself in is a critical skill that will be noticeable. Either you'll get the job, but to sustain it and to grow, this is a demanded competency that you need. There are many other skills, but I highlighted these because these will differentiate you as you're building other skill set. So I'd like to say, know where you're going, define it very well, then look at the skills you need and start working on all these skills. And you can go online and Google what are the future trends that are shaping the world of work. Look at them, create a rating for yourself and have a plan, a development plan. So every week, every month, every year, you're doing something, you're looking for opportunities to build this skill set. And like they say, when the student is ready, the teacher is available. The teacher are opportunities and resources that you may require. So start, like I said, I don't believe in a future. I believe what we have available is the time we have on our hands right now. You need to start developing these skills, whether you're a first year, whether you're just about finishing school, start where you are, because you cannot be a victim of the past. It's already gone. But you can be, like Peter Drucker said, you can predict the future by creating it. You can decide, I want to be one of the best engineers by the time I'm done with uni. So who is our best engineer? What do they do different? Who is your role model? So that you're able to absorb those skills and start working on them. You won't be the best of engineers when you're finalizing school. You need to start now and work on those skills. Then, like I said, volunteer for activities. All these transferable skills are things you learn once you do things. If you're a student leader, guys, you're top of your game because you've developed a lot of skills. I know if you're a leader in a club, if you're a student, a class rep or something, you know what I'm talking about. Things like emotional intelligence, networking, you probably go out looking for people to speak. Those are skills. They're the same skills you'll come to the work environment and like Livingstone, go to banks to source for business for a whole big organization, same skill set. So look for the opportunities right now. So don't complicate it and don't say now where, how, opportunities around us when we are very clear that these are the things we want to do differently. So volunteer when you're on holidays for free in your church, wherever. You'll start seeing that these skills, you're working on them. You cannot do a presentation in front of people, public speaking. You can deal with conflict management. You can handle project management. And when we come to looking for work, those are some of the questions that separate candidates. So tell us, okay, we've seen your profile. Define for us who you are over and beyond this profile. And people start saying what they do in their clubs, in their villages, in their communities, in your world, by the skills they have. And if you have 3 people, then you'll be wowed by somebody who's gone over and above to drive solutions for the society. Then apply for internships when you're on holiday. All these start building your competencies and you start understanding the world of work from this. And I know somebody will say, Jane, these are limited opportunities, but I would like to know how many do this, because like I said, opportunities are scarce. So we have to keep looking for them. The world is competitive, but if you do your action, I always believe the world is a fair place. You'll always get a solution. If you're looking for a mentor, for example, to help, you may not know a mentor, but you can reach out to somebody who knows that somebody. So always do something proactively to get what you want. There's a lot of support around you to ensure you're clear in your vision for where you want to go. You can start calibrating it every year, every semester and such. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is that maybe for the 4th years, you're applying for internships, you have a job opportunities, whether it's contractual, you'll often find yourself getting into an interview process. Last time, we do a lot of recruitments. Right now, we're doing graduate trainee programs. I hope some of your ex-students here applied. We do a lot of recruitments for graduate internship jobs. And I can tell you the one thing, when you're hiring for a person from school, you don't expect a lot of experience. You don't expect them to tell you what they've done, but you expect them to show up. And that's the one thing we look for. How do you show up anytime you're given as an opportunity to be asked what you can do for an organization? I know we are young, we Generation Z, and sometimes we just choose that is how we want to show up. But let me tell you, as you come into the workplace, we have multi-generation people, we have different expectations, we have different cultures, So anytime you have an opportunity to work for anyone, find out what's their culture. Find out if you're a designer, probably if you're going for an interview, this is how you would show up, and it's okay. If you come to a financial services industry, there's a way, if our dress code is corporate and you're coming for an interview, definitely there's a way you're going to show up. So I want to pull this because I've seen a lot of brilliant people miss opportunities because of the way they show up, not because they are not brilliant. Like I said, you may have first classes, 5 of them. So which of the first class do you pick? It's these other skills. And it's unfortunate. Sometimes I feel so bad when people lose opportunities because of housekeeping, the way they show up in the interview, they didn't keep time, they didn't call back, the presentation of the papers, and people feel like, this one, let's pick another one who just shows up. And probably they're not the best. They're probably just average, but people feel we can work with this. So take charge. I want to bring that to your attention so that you always say there are no jobs, but I can tell you there are jobs. People get jobs, but also do your part in terms of preparation. Your CV, as much as you're just from school, do a very neat CV. Something you look at and say, this is okay. You may not have 100 years of experience, but the way it's done, the little experiences of what you've done in all those things I've said, put them nicely and put the competencies you think you have gotten because of the work you've done. I may not emphasize on which model to use, the how to use. We're in a very agile place. There are a lot of templates you can use, but make it clean and neat. Just basic ways of communication. Also the letter, if you're doing it, sometimes you're from school and you're doing letters, you do to so many letters, you forget that when you're writing to Jubilee, you should be addressing Jubilee. You find somebody has written an application letter, but has quoted another organization, the role is different, somebody just copy pasted. So guys, when you get to apply for any of this, do it professionally and do it well. Be thorough. If you're not thorough, people will read other things. Whether you're at the best, people will read so many other things and you may lose very good opportunities. I think I've been talking about this. Package yourself for the interview. Don't come to an organization like Jubilee, like somebody tells me and asks me about affiliation to the Jubilee Party, you know. Get a bit of breath. Now, we have a lot of resources online. Find out who the organization, what do they do, just a bit. You're not going to have a whole Mwakenya around that, but just have a feel of the organization that has invited for you for an interview, their culture. A bit of that is fundamental for you to prepare for that. Then just show up. We are human beings. As much as the whole world gets automated, we are human. People connect to people who present themselves well, people who speak about themselves well, people who have clarity, they have a way of speaking, and people can see they are organized in the way they think. They're prepared. If you're not prepared for something, people will know. If you're prepared, it's going to show up. And it could be the only thing that separates you from opportunity available. You don't want to miss an opportunity because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. After many years in school, you don't want to miss an opportunity because of small details that could separate you as you work on this. I've talked about confidence. A lot of people lose opportunities because of confidence. Confidence is a competence that you can develop. Look at ways in which you can develop this. And like I said, show up. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in the skill set and value that you bring to any organization. So be confident. If you struggle with self-esteem, you're going to work on that because the world needs confident people, people who can articulate things to customers. You know, the world is about selling products and services, whatever you're doing. I'm in HR, but my work is selling even my HR. For me to get approvals of things I do, I need to sell the why. Why do you want to do this for the organization? Why do you want to spend money for team building? I have to present this. And sometimes I'll be called upon to present and defend my case. So confidence is fundamental, people. And if you struggle with this, it's something you need to consciously label, call it, I'm not confident, and start working on it and build the relevant competencies. And like I said, if you're called for an interview, housekeeping, time, all that, how you handle your papers and all that, anything about housekeeping should be top notch. And I'm sure you probably get the opportunity. And one of the earlier speakers said, jobs are opportunistic. You may be so many people. People are looking for what stands out about you. Yeah. So once accepted, if you're in any place, learn the culture, learn how things are done, ask, look for a buddy, look for a mentor, even if it's for 3 months. Don't go and say, I'm an intern. So you just dress sloppily because you're an intern. Show up. You just never know. That internship could lead to, even if it is in second year or that year, people may remember you for what you did and how you showed up. And you know, when you're younger, you're agile. You probably be the guy who gets a lot of digital things and digital proactive stuff happening in the department. So even if it's an intern, even if you're doing it for 2 weeks, let people know that, mark your space, mark that terrain. People ordinarily remember people who are good and they look for them even after school. So don't jeopardize that. Be curious. I recently went to a graduation ceremony of a lady who went for an internship in one of the banks. And it was very interesting to have the MD come to her graduation party. She was in KCA and say, this lady did very well. She was in audit. She was the only lady in my department, but she's the youngest, but she did very well. And the one thing she said, this lady has grit, has curiosity, will ask questions, will even ask about the job opportunities. So you can't even ask for a confirmation if you are late on deadlines, if you are showing up late, if you're just all over doing not the real things that you're supposed to do. Anytime you have an opportunity, show up and do the things you need to do. You just don't know who notices it. And you just remove the belief system where people say there are no jobs. Sometimes it's the opportunities that we lose that are self-sabotaged. So anybody on this call, you don't want to sabotage your career for things you'd have done very well that you didn't do, right? Then as you go through all these courses, soak as much information as you need to grow yourself. Be an agile learner. Learn. Like I said, the illiterate of the 21st century are people who cannot unlearn the things they've learned and relearn again. So see where you are, take a reflection, I call it a personal safari, and see what do I need to start doing differently. I'm always a believer, today is when you can start because the past is gone. But from today, all the speakers have given you a lot of information. What do you do with it? Yeah, and start doing what you need to do. So my parting shot for this is that you're in school. The business you are in right now is to study. Graduate with good grades. Recently, we were doing at Jubilee, a graduate trainee program, and we were very clear what the shortlist was about. You must have, just get the best grades that you can get because it starts leading the separation. For example, the graduate trainee, we were very clear, this is our cut line. These are the people we are going to get. And still, even with that, we got about 3,000 out of 6,000 just from the shortlist. After that, there are many other skills you start looking for. And ultimately, we'll meet the candidates face to face to just pick the other skills that we're talking about. So the first agenda you have right now is ensure that you do your work very well, you understand it very well. Don't just pass through school. Research and be a master of your area. Let people know that whatever you're doing, you're a master. Don't just pass through the 4 years, getting assignments done for you. Be an expert and use these 4 years to make you an expert. When you go to the world of work, it's going to be noted. People will note somebody who knows their stuff and people who are just, don't get things done. So the first resource and assignment you have right now, get good grades for what you are in here for. Then, like I said, tuko wengi sana, we're all competing. It's very competitive here, guys. And this is the reality. It's very competitive. But the good news is our corporate, the CCA Academy is here to start. You're very lucky to bring this information to you so that you start your readiness and get prepared because it's competitive and people are looking for the one person, the two people, the three people. And the three people, I can tell you for guarantee, sometimes we all say you need to know people who know people. Sometimes it has nothing to do with that. Do your bit. The world is a fair world. It gives you what you give to it. If you prepare adequately, if you consistently are online looking for information, if you're consistently looking for a mentor, if you're consistently looking for networks, being in professional bodies, looking for help, looking for support, reading books, sometimes you don't need mentors that you meet. Mentors are also books. I am sure by the time you're done, you'll be ready. And there's a way readiness shows up and you'll get opportunities that you're looking for. So elevate your vision, be clear where you want to go. You can never go beyond what you think about yourself. So if you decided, me, I did this course, so what? That's all you'll get. Life is very fair. What you give it in terms of your thoughts is what you get. So be very clear, like I said, what impact do you want to make? Like the 3 guys I started with, what do you want to do? What do you think you can do? Look for help. Who are the role models? Who are the guys who are already where you are? And see, what are they doing differently? How do they communicate? What's their quality of work? Where are they on their social media platforms? Do you follow them? Then now you start working your vision backwards. Then this is where I am on a score of 1 to 10, and I'm at 2 over 10. But I have taken personal responsibility to start the journey to work on my future by every day showing up and being intentional of the skills that you want to learn. There's a lot of help, and it doesn't matter your age. Like you can see, the youngest climber to Mount Everest was this guy at 13 years. Yeah, summited. This is a huge milestone at 13, but different perspectives. The oldest person who did the same in May 2013 was 80 years old. So it's not about when, how. You must deal with all your limiting factors in your mind and decide, this is Jane, this is my journey, this is where I am. These are my kind of challenges, limitations. These are my weaknesses, but I need to start a journey. I didn't do it yesterday, but I have an opportunity to start rethinking what do I want to be known for 5 years from now? But you'll be known for that once you start. It's not about your age. It's not about which year you are in. It's about an intentionality to take charge and responsibility of your career, whether you're going to be an entrepreneur or whatever you choose to be. Define that space, look for support, and start the journey towards growing that. And like Steve Jobs said when he lived, stay hungry, stay foolish. Look for depth and width across all the disciplines that you really want to pursue. I'm here to say that the future is bright for people who are willing to take responsibility of what they want to see. Just like we say, oh, as a country, we have bad leaders. But today I say, be the leader you want to see, show up to the world. Just be simple, be clear, succinctly clear on what you want to do and get the depth, be good at what you do, that they cannot ignore you. If you're good, we will not ignore you. People will see you. Once you stand to speak, people will tell that guy has a difference, that guy has content. This is a good salesman, this is a good engineer. Be good at what you do. They will not ignore you. Master your craft. Be the best you can be. That has nothing to do with your external world. It has a lot to do with decisions you make today, that this is what I want to do and this is how I want to show up. If you're so good at what you can do in your skill, you'll be sought after. I've recently this week been doing some interviews of data engineers. We need some data engineers in our data enterprise management to drive a transformational project in the organization. And I was seeing some young guys come for these interviews and they're so sharp. And you're like, we must get you on job. There are many people, but they're only two studying out, very young, very competitive, even in their papers, because you've seen their value, you've seen what they've been able to do, and an employer is saying, you must get this on board. They call me and say, Jen, I'm not taking your offer. I counter offer it again, because they're so good of what they're doing. They're so competent that we can't ignore them. We look for them where they are. So it's your journey that you define, and be good at what you do. And there are resources, look for them wherever they are. You can get a mentor, you can get a coach, be on these online platforms, listen, hear, read, do whatever you can do. When you're done with your personal responsibility on your career, opportunities are going to show up and you'll be very loud. It's your future, let it count. Do whatever you need to do to let it count. Thank you very much. I'm available for any questions from this. Back to you.
Wow. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jen, for that. You can share. We really learned a lot from you. I believe students are also learning from here. So I don't know, Tim, if you can allow me to take 10 minutes, then we go to the Q&A. Allow me to take only 10 minutes. I hope you can hear me, Philip and Tim.
Loud and clear, Livingston. But before you proceed, allow us to appreciate Jen.
Yes, I appreciate Jen.
I believe that was a good time. So once again, thank you very much, Jen. Livingston, 10 minutes, Emirates time. Not 18, 10 minutes, Emirates. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Livingston Makori. I want to start by saying I sometimes don't care the degree you are doing, the university you are in. I care about the person you want to become and the decisions you make to become who you want to become. And you can see, as Mark Twain says, there are two important things in a person's life: the day you were born and the day you find out why. Some of the people would whine and say, oh, I was placed in a wrong university. That has nothing to do with your success. I want to take you through Corporate Career Academy. So for Corporate Career Academy, we have been in the business of supporting students from the year 2013 to the year 2022. About these years, we've been able to support students in more than 45,000 students. We've been able to reach more than 250 mentors. We've been able to provide students with more than 525 internships through our partnerships. We have held a number of fiscal sessions, and today marks our 16th fiscal career fair at Moi University. So we are very glad to be at Moi University and look forward to learn from you. What are some of the things we do? We support students across so that you are an all-round. So in terms of training, we support officers of career services, student leaders. We are some of us student leaders, so we train them. We work with alumni associations, career ambassadors, clubs and societies. If you have an event and you want us to work together, we are there to support you with speakers, with information you need. We train on mental health, skills of the future. We have training in data science, robotics, automation, career counseling, job skills. We also train on personal branding, which is now CV writing for 4 years, and anyone maybe, but majorly on the 4 years, we want to brand you well, cover letter writing on CV, mock interviews, and a number of things we do, including our inaugural awards ceremony where we are awarding stakeholders who are supporting career development. These are some of the things we do in the academy. Let me start by saying, if you look at this picture I've displayed here, you cannot pinpoint who has a degree. So a degree does not make you any different. In a road, if you meet people, you cannot know who has a degree unless you show up. And the Bible says, if you write a candle and put it under a table, who will know that who will see it? So you must make your knowledge be known. You must be able to showcase so that people can know among these teams who has a degree, who has the knowledge, who has these skills. The University Council of East Africa did a research, and the research indicates that in Kenya, 51% of the students, of the graduates, are not ready for the job market. Overall, when we also look at employer satisfaction, 90% of the people are not satisfied with their current role. Elon Musk, the richest man in this world now, says people work better when they know what the goal is and why. It's also important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. I want to differentiate a degree and a career and tell you the degree you are doing is not your career. The degree you are doing is just to prepare you to learn, to be able. If you are able to pursue a career in that area, the better. If you are not, the world is changing. So it has been mentioned about the future of work, and I may not want to mention a lot about the future of work, but I'll also mention about the future of work skills. By the year 2025, 97 million jobs will be created. These jobs will be in data science, machine learning, big data, digital marketing, processes automation, business development, digital transformation, information, software, Internet of Things, medical. But when we mention about this IT, then people ask for ourselves, should we all of us start doing IT? No, you don't need to do an IT. You don't need to appreciate what IT does. And by appreciating is to know that by the year 2025, 85 million jobs will not be there. They'll really go down. Data entry clerk jobs, administrative roles and clerks, accounts and bookkeeping, payroll, assembly and factory workers, business service administrators. Those roles will not be there because technology is going to take over them. In universities currently, most students are doing online writing, but with the introduction of ChatGPT, anyone can do their own writing. So what does the future pretend if you are doing online writing? Now there's ChatGPT, which can even quote and give you citations. That is how the future changes. ChatGPT is also likely to replace most of the work Google has been doing. And Google has bought ChatGPT, I'm told, because of the nature of work. How are you preparing for the future of work? In the course you do. One, I'll mention some few things. How do you prepare for the job, future of work? Have a customized CV. Have a professionalized LinkedIn profile. Just have a good profile. I don't know how many of you have a LinkedIn profile, but by end of this session, we'll have a LinkedIn profile because Corporate Career Academy has enabled you to have a LinkedIn profile where you can be able to share your certificates. As you attend our sessions, we are able to issue with certificates. Also do professional development. I don't want, if you get a first class, that's very good, but have a first class with something. It's not all about the academic papers. After all, the things you study in school are sometimes irrelevant. Sometimes, I've used the word sometimes, because of the way technology is moving. Ensure you do professional development, learn a small skill, pay a small fee, learn something. I think our business students have learned this very well. Every student who joins business, they know they need to do a CPA. But again, they are now skills of the future. Learn a skill. I'll show you how we offer those skills and where they are found. Do some experiential learning. Learn from people. Get to know who are your mentors. Volunteer to do something. Volunteer. Learn new age skills. So where can you find some of these courses? If you are online, many. Microsoft has free learning. There's LinkedIn. Some courses are paid for. Kyocera, we have Udemy, we have Ajira Digital, we have Kazi Sasa, Moringa School, and many others. These are also able to teach you the job platforms and again give you digital skills. But again, in our life, even with our studies, we sometimes find ourselves in the most complicated journey. The world's most complicated interchange is called Zhongjin in China. So if you are in this road and if you are not sure where you are going, you may end up moving around until the end of the day, until police come to pick you, because it's a very complicated interchange. This usually also happens in career, because most of us, how did we choose our career? Probably we chose our career because of the teachers, parents, relatives, friends, or the church. But it's very important as you come out of the job market, as you come or as you study, to be able to know yourself. What are your career interests? What is your personality? What motivates you to work? How do you learn? What are your skills and abilities? Do you have a mentor? How is the future moving to? Where is the future moving to? If you are able to do this career, then it gives you a very good career you can be able to pursue. And for those who are stuck, Corporate Career Academy is here to support you. You can do a career assessment. We'll be able to guide you and tell you, these are some of the areas you can do better, concentrate on this. If you want that, go to our website, www.corporatecareeracademy.com. You'll be able to learn about that. When we were doing registration, we asked guys to tell us which are some of the skills they wish to learn. And we have 11% who wanted to learn robotics, processes automation. Data science was 306, digital marketing 312. We had a number. So why did we mention these skills? These are some of the future-proof skills you need to succeed irrespective of the course you are doing. So what is the solution to this? Corporate Career Academy has partnered with organizations to offer you those skills. So for those who are interested in data science, we are working with the African Center for Data Science and Analytics. The CEO spoke in the morning. We'll be able to support you if you want to learn about data science, machine learning, you want to be a certified data scientist, a certified machine learning expert, or a business analyst. We have a shorter course for campus students, which gives you an introductory, whether you are in accounting, finance, agriculture, economics, you are in engineering, you can still learn an element in data that is relevant to your role. So since you will be also be sharing those opportunities when they come, those who are interested to learn these skills, let's get in touch. For those who are interested to know how do we take business to the market, we are working with the International School of Advertising, and they are now giving you a good deal. For students in their 4th year, they are providing you with an offer, which comes with a compulsory attachment. So when you are asking us for internship, International School of Advertising will be able to train you for 3 months and then give you a job in the integrated brand communication. So that you are be able to be an effective communicator. So for those who are interested in the area of business development, communication, PR, and maybe knowing how best you can sell, then this is the skill for you. Paid internships, They give you, if you are not able to enroll for the program, they're also giving you a loan to study, which you will pay once you are given the internship. So you can join this program anytime. We're also doing robotics processes automation with the UiPath. UiPath offers around 34% of the services offered in the world. They are the biggest in robotics. So we have training around there, again, targeting university students. If you are interested, this is the skill that is now most required by most organizations. Get in touch with us. For those who are interested in digital marketing, Robisearch Limited is also training on digital marketing as a student-friendly cost. Again, for mediation, Sulu Mediation Center, I know the CEO is there, you have spoken. We have negotiated a rate for students so that students can have the minimum cost they can pay to learn mediation. So if you want it, and I saw a friend of mine who was seated there, very smart, who wanted to be a lawyer. Now there's an opportunity to interact with lawyers without having to go through law school. Let's discuss how we can have this training session done at a student-friendly cost. For those who want to study in the US, and this is for the US and Canada, work in the US and Canada, we've partnered with Corporate Career Academy. So Kenya Airlifts program. So for those who want to study in the USA and work in USA and Canada in STEM and business-related programs, you don't need to have a business background. You don't need to have a mathematical background. Any degree, provided you are willing to learn, these skills can be learned by anyone. So again, we'll share with you a link if you are interested. We also have a deal for students, including if you are in first year and you want to start saving slowly and learning about it. We are here to support you. For Corporate Career Academy, again, internally, we are training CV writing, career guidance, leadership training. Philip Pande is a certified mentor. He does a lot of training. We are organizing training for class reps and all that. So we are there for you. Graphic design, UI design, volunteer on campus jobs. Wherever we get them, we are also able to refer to you to do them. We are going to give you a certificate of participation. What do you need to do? Just type this URL. Go online and update your name. Give us your official name. If there's a change in name, we will not be able to cater for that cost. Just update your name for those who are in the meeting. Before you leave, there's a guy there called Alex. Make sure Alex helps you to register your name here, and the certificate will be out before we finish even answering questions. Once you get this certificate, you can be able to add it to your LinkedIn profile, which will enhance also your professionalism. The certificate is able to show, you can also be able to verify, whoever wants to verify, that you also attended this career development program. This is a certificate for you. So once you have the link to the certificate, just click on add to profile, then it brings you to your profile if you are on LinkedIn. If you are not on LinkedIn, create your LinkedIn profile. Then your work is just save and proceed. Tag us as you do that. Should you want to reach us, contact us. Our email is skills@corporatecareeracademy.com. You can also get us on WhatsApp. I know we have contacted everyone on WhatsApp and given them information prior to this. You can also call the same number. Check us on social media on our website, corporatecareeracademy.com, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Learn what other speakers have said previously, and the content of this discussion today will also be in our website, on our LinkedIn. Thank you very much. I want to take it back to Philip Pande as this link is being shared so that guys can start confirming their names. I'm here to issue them certificates. Before you leave that hall, make sure you have your own certificate. Thank you very much. Philip. Philip, you can hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. We are saying thank you, and guys, they are clapping for you.
Okay.
So once again, thanks for your resilience and thanks for staying up to the tail end. I believe the presentation by Livingstone and by Jane wraps it up, right? Jane has spoken to what I would have talked about mostly in innovation and facing the future of work. But I'll mention a few things as we wrap up. Speaking, two more guests joined us, and we have the presence of architect Steve Gomez, who is the director urban development, planning and housing in Kisumu. Karibu sana Steve, tupigie makofi. Then we also have an academician or person from the academia. His name is Vincent Owanda, we call him Daktari, who is also with us. In the interest of time, I know you want to hear their voices, they'll say their names, and then we can proceed to Q&A.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Steve Gomez. I'm an architect by profession, and currently, as he has stated, the Director for Urban Development and Housing in Kisumu County. And I think I'm here as a young person who was given a responsibility at an age where maybe most of the time, as we know it conventionally, you don't get people in those levels of our age. But I like what one of the presenters was saying, that you have to believe in yourself and also show the staff that you are, and everyone will seek for you. So it's a challenge that we can actually be good in what we do, so that even the opportunities that we never think about to get at this age can actually seek for us even without us going for it. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I have to say that we are sorry that we are late, but I think you are also in time for such a wonderful event. I've just listened to the last two sessions, and there are things that I've noted. One of them, as someone who is going out there, probably to look for a career, one thing that he said, I think from the last speaker, is that degree is not a career. Degree basically empowers you. And when you are empowered, meaning you are given the power to all that appertains to that degree. That is what we normally say when you are graduating. So that degree gives you the power. It enables you to do more. Therefore, you have some of these corporates having scholarships like Wings to Fly, means you are enabled. You have fins to swim. You are enabled to swim. So going out there, you are going to swim. How are you going to swim? You have to cut your niche. That means you have to be good at what you do. I normally give an example from an interview of Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt had talent, but that talent into a skill. How did he do it? That was the. He said over the year, he has been working to develop that skill. That means he had to put hours and hours. He had to put more time. He had to wake up very early in the morning to go and run, so that he perfected the art of running. So he had the skill and he made it an art. When something is an art, you have to enjoy it. So I normally give an example of two, probably three simple laws. If you did physics somewhere, you must have learned the Newton's laws of motion. The first law is the law of inertia. A body at rest will continue remaining at rest until there is an external force that has acted on it. That law of inertia, on the other hand, that is when it can move. And again, the same law of inertia says that a body moving on a straight line will continue moving on a straight line unless there is an external force.
again, as someone who wants to develop more force so that you are safe. And the last part of that Newton's law is in and every action, there is a reaction. And one of the former US ambassadors stated it clearly that actions, every choice has a consequence. So choose whatever you do wisely. That really brings me to the linked thing. The guy from the, I think, corporate world academy said, linked is a professional social media. The story is meant for professional things and it's supposed to it is basically a tool that uses historical data to project what you are interested in, what you might probably like. So that makes you like your past and it can predict what you want to do and what will happen in the future. That is Facebook tools. Some of the activities that you are doing, they are like your past. And that is why most of these corporate nowadays ask you when you apply for a job, you give them a link. You are maybe one of your social media. What do they want to check them? Immediately they get you have to see what you have been posting.
At Technical University of Kenya and Kaimosi University College. So they came in as witnesses and potential mentors. If looking for mentor in the line of architects, engineering, you have Steve, you have Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of our session. And we are going to allow us another 15 minutes of interactions by asking questions. I hope they're ready. If you have written questions, you can hand them in. If you want to ask a question by yourself, I will open this mic. So let me see a show of hands, those who want to ask questions. Meanwhile, allow everybody to register so that you're able to have your e-certificates at the end of the day and at the end of this session program questions. And I want to allow the director to take us through this session. Chero. Video
thank you so much. I've seen some hands. But there is also a question that was passed by paper. I'll just read it, then we'll answer it, then I'll move around. So it's a mediation question.
Okay, I want to ask a question to the CASNEB. On CASNEB, it seems like you have to study for the CASNEB examination. For example, if you're studying for the CPA, then again, you have to register for the ICPAC with the ICPAC so that you can acquire the name, the CPA. So can you please tell us the processes that are involved in that and maybe the fees or how you can acquire it? Because I think most will want to start and again finish it with having the name CPA. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I'll allow the facilitators to answer those questions first before I can take any more questions.